Being out in costume, addressing issues in public is not about being beautiful, impeccable, and perfect. It's about being slightly bad at what I'm doing. Drag as an art form is about being on top of the people you're interacting with. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in showing people a weak, vulnerable part of myself mixed in with that power. Then people will begin to re-question everything. I want people, when they see me, to re-evaluate everything. They can start with me and they end with themselves, and then that is successful work. My motivation to begin making art products was from my devastating experience in the army. I was trying to deal with elements of repression and of cultural domination, like the Voortrekker Monument, buffels, soldiers, weapons. In the beginning, I was using Alice to represent that kind of nightmare experience, and then after a while, I became the Alice. Then my motivation to begin performance work was from a devastating illness. I got glandular fever and spent 2 weeks in hospital and 14 weeks in bed. Through that, I really began to see the power of the body as a medium. I began to question why I was bothering with textiles, why I was representing images of other people on products removed from reality. Why don't I just use my own body? Performance art is immeasurably more powerful than static visual art. Performance art is internal and intrusive. It's like surgery without anesthetic. Static visual art is just like anesthetic without surgery. Art doesn't have to succeed to be of value. Art that fails is equally of value, if it fails in an intelligent, conceptual, glamorous way. My thing about glamour is how difficult it is to achieve, how fragile it is, and what it's actually a veneer for. True glamour can't be questioned. Whereas what I do, there are millions of questions, and people can see that what I'm doing is partly fraudulent. I'm doing things, I'm not a woman, and I dress up to look like a woman, but expose my cock and my chest hairs and my muscles at the same time. A lot of the stuff that I'm trying to address is particularly South African. This kind of macho dominance, this way we have of culturally imposing on each other, our South African instinct to hunt, to kill, to be violent, to be aggressive. Why does the public have the privilege of saying that I am shocking, that I am perverse or immoral, when they see the violence level in South Africa, where we have a woman of 114 years old raped, where we have bizarre killings? Art has no boundaries and must by nature transgress to be good art. I think you really take away people's comfort zones when you challenge them in their own environments, in shopping centers, at sports events. These are carefully constructed and calculated plans. I never wake up and think, this is a good idea, I'll go and do that. The dog show, I was phoning for weeks before, finding out what category dogs you want, are mongrels allowed. It was really a strange piece because it was the first public intervention I did. My entire motivation in going there was simply to show them what a well-trained, obedient, talented mongrel I was. They were so surprised at what was happening, they didn't even try and stop it. When I set out to make the work, I have no clear understanding of what will happen. I have certain things I'm trying, I'm testing, I'm exploring. This way people watch the work being made, because usually we work in secrecy and then unveil our grand creations. Part of using found objects is to reinterpret them. For instance, these shoes, these are freely available in a fetish shop. It becomes an interesting ordeal to go out into public in these shoes, not being able to walk. I went to vote in these shoes in the recent election, and I spent 5 hours in the queue. And so, in a way, what I was wearing began to challenge entire structures of who is allowed to vote, of what identity you have to present to officialdom. People are often telling me how brave I am, when really I'm really cowardly and challenging my own cowardice by going to these things. I often struggle to maintain doing what I'm doing, and I think that's of great interest for people. We don't want to watch each other do what we can really do well. I hate people who paint on Sundays. I find it completely damaging to what we as artists do. Every single thing I do in my life is part of my attempt to find meaning through art. You're going to ask me if everyone's an artist?
Yes.
No, everyone's a filmmaker.